Hey Maria, back with another video. It's like 9:22 p.m. and I just got out of the shower a few minutes ago, and I am getting ready for bed. I had a pretty good nice evening this evening. My son came over and he prepared some food. It took us a while to get the barbecue lit. Now I got one of those little tiny barbecues. Um, I wanted the standard size barbecue. Like the one, I don't know how many inches it is, but it's a standard one, okay, and it's a pie or whatever. Very common looking barbecue. When I was at Walmart, okay, and you know how it is with Walmart. It's like I don't really want to be at Walmart, but for some reason that place sucks me in. So I went to Walmart. They didn't have like a standard 17, I think 17 high or whatever, 17 inch. I think it's 17 inches wide, the barbecue. They didn't have those, okay. They were on sale for a really good price, and everyone took them. So the only thing that was left was like this little small, I guess you would call it maybe a hibachi type size grill. And I'm like, whatever. I was just in a bad mood that day. So I bought it home, and I only used it one time. And so, I've never been one of those people who could set up a barbecue. It takes me a long time. Every once in a blue moon, I'll get lucky, and I'm able to light the coals, from the first try. But I will tell you, it's very, very rare. But anyway, my son came over and we, spent time together talking. And it was nice. I mean, it was nice to have somebody over here and spend time with, especially my son, But it was nice to have food with somebody instead of, sitting around here all by myself, which is pretty sad at this point. But anyway, I'm grateful for the company, I was thinking about how much I don't really get to go outside very much. Like, I get home and I just kind of shut myself inside the house. But, being outside, even if it was just my front porch, was nice to be outside, And I know when we used to barbecue when I was a little kid, I would stay outside and just kind of look at the coals as they, started to fizzle out. And it was nice just kind of smelling that charcoal smell for whatever reason. It just had a nice feel to it, But I didn't have any time for that. It was nice to spend time with my son. It made Sunday decent for a change, So it would be nice to have more company, but you know how life is at this point. Anyway, so, I think this whole thing got really blown out of proportion. And, it's unfortunate that it did. Especially seeing as how I'm pretty much an old woman. I have mentioned I'm an old woman before, haven't I? Anyway, at least I don't feel old, but, I know when my birthday is, okay? I know when it is. I know the date, I know the year, and, I know that I'm not, young anymore. And it's funny because there's always things to remind me of that. Every once in a while those gray hairs pop up, right? But so I'm a little upset. I think things got out of control. There are certain people I'm not angry with. I can understand their intention. I understand their maybe their passivity in this issue. But like I said, my main issue is with my former boss. And I get the feeling that some of these people are like, they're afraid that I'm, going to rip their heads off. I'm not going to rip their heads off. There are certain people that deserve to have their heads ripped off. I mean, in a literal sense, okay? But obviously Maria is law-abiding, and she's a good girl, okay? She doesn't do those sort of things. But I fully understand what people do. So, there's no reason for people to be angry with me. People must really know that I can tear into people, and I don't like doing that. I really don't. Nobody feels good about doing that sort of stuff. It feels good to get it off my chest when somebody deserves it. You know what I mean? But I'm cutting some people some slack. Anyway, I'm except for the employers. Anyway, oh, and my family, yeah, and Joel's family, yeah. Those people, no. It is an exhausting thing, okay? And I think what my biff is the narcissism that got into this issue, and the attacks, the psychological abuse, and the mistreatment of me for something that to me is just really frivolous and stupid. And I don't know, but I don't think people have to sit here and be afraid that I'm going to yell at them or, that's not going to happen. It just isn't. I don't have that towards me. I am disappointed that some people got, indoctrinated with this, and I don't think that their indoctrination was that easy to make them become that way. Some people are just, not your friends in the first place, you know what I mean? But, that's reality. I mean, that's just a very rare quality in a person, that kind of loyalty. Because I'll tell you what, if one of my bosses, somebody else's boss is starting to do that stuff to them, I would let them know. I would let them know because I know that it's illegal and I know it's going to cause them tremendous pain. I know it. And some people don't think about it. They think, well, she's the boss. I mean, she's an old previous boss. She's got this right to do it. And then they go along and they do this stuff. And, hey, this is illegal. This is wrong. This is very wrong. And it is indeed a crime against humanity. It's one of those, or should be considered that way. It is actually, because it's gang stalking, human trafficking, and it's basically spreading lies, rumors, and affecting the quality of a person's life. So it's a federal law, federal crime. And so, I know people, it's very common for people to get engaged in this sort of stuff, but it's very damaging to the person, So that's all I really need to say about it, So if somebody was to try to, from my past that I got along with and came and encountered me, I'm not going to sit here and drill them. Why the fuck would I want to sit here and bring up people that I can't stand in my home? I mean, seriously, why would I do that? Of course, I would probably be very general because they're going to ask, well, they're going to act like, oh, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? I'm just going to say, well, obviously, I've been having a little difficulties, but, I'm not going to sit here and start ripping people's heads off. I'm just not going to do that. I mean, obviously, they know enough. We all know, and it is what it is, I'm just... it's weird. I remember back in, I think it was 2015, I have premonitions, but I was closing my eyes one night, and in my premonition, it was like, there was a bunch of people from Facebook, my dorky-ass brother-in-law, I'm referring to Culligan, my sister was in the room in this premonition, everybody was in the room, people that I hadn't even seen in years, were in this room. And they were all like talking amongst themselves, And now I realize that this is what this meant. It meant that these people were involved in this, Whether they were loosely involved or heavily or strongly involved, but they were involved. I don't recall seeing, the cute guy in this. So that's one of the reasons why later on, when I had the dream about the cute guy, I realized that he must be involved in it, especially the way that the dream revealed itself. So I'm looking back a lot and putting things together, and I get it, okay? But, authority is not always right. And just because somebody questions their judgment doesn't mean that you're a rebellious person. They like to paint it out that way, and anybody who paints it out that way is obviously somebody who's a control freak, okay? And they can bring nothing but problems and wreak havoc in the lives of other people. Because a fair leader or somebody who's respected should be open to having, more of a democratic way of handling things, instead of this totalitarian type, authority. That's wrong. Man, I said it there for a second. That's a hard word to roll off my lips, but it's wrong, and considering the reasons why she was doing it, I just think, my God, you're raising a ruckus over something so stupid, and that really is, at the end of the day, is none of your business, So anyway, I'm just, whatever, I'm so sorry for these other targeted individuals, people who haven't cracked the code and figured out exactly who's involved, but I will tell you, night and day, these people are plagued with extreme fear and anxiety. I'm filled with it now, but think about when I wasn't really, back when I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know who was involved. Like, first I thought, I know the government, people think the government's after them. I thought maybe that would be the case, but I kept thinking, I never did anything. Like, I don't do shit. Why would the government be interested in me? And I kept thinking, well, maybe they were tracking me because, I'm a higher level intelligent person. Because sometimes I've heard that they do that, But I'm like, well, still, I'm not like winning any Nobel Peace Prizes or anything like that. I mean, I'm like, no. So that immediately got tossed out. That can't be the reason. So then I kept thinking, okay, obviously I knew that I had issues with my previous employer, but, it all came together in time, is basically what I'm saying. But I had no idea these people were involved. And, but Facebook, now that I get the picture, it's like, I don't know who contacted who. Maybe we've always been a part of this network that I had no idea. You guys were part of this secret society, and I've been loosely connected to this secret society for many years. Probably because what would tie that together would be the relationship with my family, because my family infiltrates in my life, okay? I don't make it a common practice to friend the people that they friend. I don't. I've always wanted my friendships to be separate from them. That was something that maybe I look back now. Did I do that on purpose, and didn't realize it? Was it my way, a subconscious way of wanting to get the fuck away from them and not really realizing it? Sometimes I think about that kind of stuff. I'm like, maybe I knew they treated me shitty, okay? But I just knew sometimes being around them would make me depressed. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I didn't. Like, I know that the Kevin guy, who's an asshole at this point, and I don't ever want to think about him ever again, for being involved in this and participating in this nonsense, how dare you, that pisses me off, and then, some of the people my sister used to know, I can't say that we've ever been close friends, so my family infiltrates into my life. When I meet somebody, they want to be around them, they want to know everything about them, and then they want to get into my workplace, or even worse, they want to manipulate my jobs. This is insane, okay? They think that I'm just fundamentally flawed in every way, and it's not. It's the other way around, but that's a dysfunctional family for you. That is, okay? You can look at these people and you can see that they're extremely dysfunctional. So I'm just a product, of their abuse, basically. And so they get involved with the employer. I'm sure they were happy and delighted. If Karen gave them authorization to do the things that they did, or some other idiot gave them the authorization to say it's okay for doing all this shit and participating in the mobbings and all this other garbage, that was bad. Because these people are just very ignorant, okay? They come into my workplace. They don't care about whether the fact that I have to take care of a kid or not. They resent probably the fact that I even had one. So I don't appreciate their shit, and I sure as hell don't want to sit here and bend over and cater to these people that have no fucking no regard for me whatsoever, especially when I think about all this. So, whatever. So, that was an issue that I've already dealt with. I realized that I was a scapegoat a few years ago, and it started to make sense. And most people found out in their 30s. I, a little late, found out in my 40s, okay? But still, it was kind of traumatizing because that sends a message, that your family is basically launching hate campaigns against you. That's warped. But meanwhile, they're sitting here serving you food, going into their house, for holidays, and they're just, it's creepy as hell. So when I was stuck with the, dilemma of, when I was over in Lancaster at that time, thinking, okay, well, my sister's doing something weird. And it was really weird because her little son came in. He was walking past my bedroom door, and he had this look on his face like, I know something, like, that little kitty look. And I'm like, what the hell, right? And then my sister was completely out of character. Like, her behavior and her mannerisms were not the same. Like, I remembered them, you know what I mean? You know how people act. But she seemed like she had something, she was up to something. I wasn't comfortable with it. So it's like, okay, great. And, my life with Joel wasn't bad. I mean, he was a little abusive, okay? He was, okay? But I kept thinking, well, I'll go back. You know what I mean? And I got along good with Joel. I did, okay? We had our issues. We did have our issues, okay? So I decided I'm coming back home. Came home, And this shit was just, I felt it felt really heavy. Something was going on here. I just felt so heavy. I had nowhere else to go, you know. And when I finally did get out, you know, because I kept thinking, if his mom involved in my employment, and he's sitting here not telling me, and if that's the case, I'm getting the fuck out, because I don't want anybody ever controlling my ass, ever, you know, because no, okay. And plus, I understood that his mom and him were, you know, like that, and that right there was the main factor why I wanted to get the hell out. So, yeah, those two issues were bothering me deeply. So I left, you know. So the thing is that it's not that I'm, you know, if the cute guy was arranging my jobs or whatever through Karen or whatever, I'm not blaming him, okay? Because these people only know what they're allowed to do, and they think they are allowed to do it because of this particular person. And whether they asked or initiated this thing first, or Karen handled it over to them on a silver platter. But whatever the case is, it's, you know, that's something that should be handled up front. You know, I'm not saying I'm opposed to doing certain favors or whatever for people, but it's like, please let me know, you know. Anyway, so anyway, just to sum it up, you know, I'm not angry, and I don't want people to think that. There's no reason for it. I'm just angry because for over 10 years, this maniac has been messing my shit up, you know, and I've been working like a dog and doing my best work I've ever done, and I get no credit for it. And it's very upsetting to me, because I feel very, like, just, it's so unjust, you know, like, you know, when I realized what was going on, it's like, okay, well, maybe I should move to another state. Shouldn't a person be able to start over again? But you got this person, it's like, you can't go there, we're shutting you down, you can't go here, you can't go there. What the hell? You know what I mean? It was one thing if these people were causing a ruckus in a community, to where, you know, the people don't like you and they just whatever, but you're spreading this shit all over the place to where I can't move. You know, I can't start over again. I can't live the way that I want. That's the problem. You know what I mean? But the rumor campaign, which probably started all this bullshit, is what shuts that down. Okay, I had no idea what people were thinking or saying about me. You know what I mean? To me, I can't, you know, I'm not perfect, but what's to bitch about, really? I work, I do my job, you know what I mean? And that kind of influence, that anger, that evilness wouldn't be there unless, of course, there's somebody intruding into my workplace, which would be Karen, and possibly my family. Probably the combination of both, okay? I don't exist to sit here and please other people. I exist to please myself. And I suggest you take on the same philosophy, because that fucking, what do you call it, herd mentality is weak. It is weak, okay? And I couldn't buy into that for anything in the world, okay? That's beneath me. It is. It really is. And I'm dead serious about it, you know? I'm proud that I have rights. You know what I mean? I can't be proud that I have rights. I was just fortunate enough to be in a country where I have rights, okay? Unfortunately, this country tends to forget people have rights, okay? Because we have a lot of what I consider to be heathen type people who are, you know, just, they might look respectable with suit ties and nice cars, but when you get down to it, they're criminals. You know what I mean? And they may not intentionally be criminals, but the thing is that they're ignorant. Okay, but once they realize that they're ignorant and they continue to do it, at that point you're a criminal. Especially when you bring in like laws, codes, and then you're also talking about you know, the religious aspect of it. Okay, so it's against God's laws, it's against man's laws. Why the hell are you doing it? You know what I mean? So you know that I'm being traumatized, because obviously when I'm calling up job agencies and I'm upset because somebody said, well, you know, we are not going to help her. Why aren't you going to help her? Because Karen said so. That's bullshit. You're denying me a service. You know what I mean? And then when you finally get a job, it's like, well, you know, you're dealing with their little shit parade. You know, I'm tired of it. You know? And that shit parade wouldn't be there if, you know, I'm sure people always have, you know, some curiosities about black people. They're going to, okay? But it's not going to be over the top like it has been. Why is it over the top like it is? Because there's a manipulator there. And stalking really should stop. It should stop. You know, I know it's tempting to get involved with people, like, for example, maybe a guy's calling a girl at her workplace. Because I used to call the cute guy's workplace when I was a kid. I did it a lot. You know what I mean? I would talk to the guy who worked in the automotive station department, and he would tell me, you know, he's coming in today, he's whatever, and he just walked by. I mean, yeah, I did that shit, right? But I was a teenager, of course. But anyway, but still, like, let's say, for example, a receptionist picks up the phone and starts talking to a guy, and the guy's interested in this particular girl, right? And she's sitting there yapping it up and telling him where she's going and stuff like that. And then, you know, and then acting out on certain scenarios, working out certain scenarios in the workplace, talking, gossiping, other people are gossiping about you, and then everybody's talking and whatever, and then people are basically beating up on this girl. You know what I mean? With their little inside joke. You know what I mean? And this is a problem. It's still considered stalking, no matter how cute the cute guy is, and he's very cute, okay? You know, but in those terms, no matter how well intentioned, it's still going to cause some sort of problem for the person. That's why it is, you know, it's illegal. It is, okay? But that's not really his fault, because a lot of people do it. But I will tell you, the fault of it is the employer, because the employer is supposed to be hiring somebody who is supposed to be adhering and following these laws. And if they, like I said, if you don't know that it's against the law to do what you're doing, then that's a big surprise. So you can take your bachelor's degree and wipe the crack of your ass with it, because that's pretty much, you wasted your money, which I can go into that whole spiel like all day long. Okay. Anyway, getting late. I'm going to go ahead and finish drinking my water, and then I'm going to crawl into my bed. And I think all I really wanted to say was that I had a nice evening. You know, I did have a nice evening, and that's all I wanted to say. But, you know, gang stalking, this issue is so on my mind, because there's so much, you know, that I am dealing with. And I'm not doing it to be drama queen. It is a natural process. And a lot of people, like I said, in going through this, they have, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder. Some people commit suicide. There's a lot of things that people go through psychologically. So I'm not, you know, I think I'm doing pretty goddamn good, okay, considering what this does to people. That's what I said. This is the reason why it's against the law, okay? This is what it does to a person, all right? It helps to know a little bit that some of these people I know didn't mean to do it, but at least I can put a face onto what happened to me. But I feel very bad for the people who don't know who did this to them. And if you're one of these people who are participating in something like this and you're hurting another person, I want you to understand the reason why you're accusing this person of being crazy, the reason why you're accusing this person of being erratic, irrational at work or whatever, is because you are creating a hostile environment. Maybe you don't realize the damage that you're doing, okay? Because all you're doing is you're talking to somebody on the phone and you're communicating and you're playing a little game, skits and stuff like this, working out in the office. But really what's going on behind the scenes is there's bullshit going on in the office, and you're stirring it up. Whether you're doing it on purpose, I think Karen was doing it on purpose, as well as my family. But whether you're doing it on purpose, whether it's just a joke or whatever, you are stirring up this trouble. And the person, the target, is the one who's feeling the heat of it, okay? So this is the result, okay? My shitty car, this apartment, you know, the very fact that, you know, I'm scraping by. This is the result of Karen Johnson. Okay? Doing something illegal, hurting another person. So anyway, wrapping up this video. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will be back with another one later. Bye-bye.